Attention, cryptid enthusiasts and Bigfoot believers. Unleash your inner legend with our brand new Bigfoot t-shirt, now available just $19.95 plus shipping. This tee is everything you've ever wanted. Soft, lightweight, and designed with the perfect amount of stretch for maximum comfort. Made from 100% combed and ring-spun cotton, it's pre-shrunk to keep its flattering fit and durable enough to withstand your wildest adventures. With its high-quality construction and iconic design, this shirt is a must-have for anyone who's ready to join the hunt in style. Sizes are available for everyone, so don't wait to grab yours today. Head to the link in the show notes to snag your new favorite shirt and rep your Bigfoot pride wherever you go. Do you know how hard it is to sit properly in this?
I'm trying hard not to look up your moo-moos.
I'm trying to sit ladylike, and it's
not sitting like a lady. I'm looking straight up a Halloween-themed moo-moo.
Oh my God, so sorry.
If I look like I'm staring up at your laundry sign, that's what
Okay. Hi, I'm Hannah.
And I'm Courtney.
Join us as we delve into true crime, paranormal encounters, and all things spooky.
Grab your flashlight and get ready to wander into the darkness with us.
This is Wicked Wanderings. Hi, Courtney.
Hi, Hannah.
Welcome to another episode of Wicked Wanderings.
Ooh, quiet yelling. I don't know, guys. I got some kind of sinus thing going on, and I keep feeling like my mic doesn't sound right, and I'm yelling into the microphone, and it's yelling at me. Quiet yelling.
This case, girl.
We both composed an episode separately, and we did not tell the other person at all what we were working on, so I really hope in some crazy Freaky Friday shit we didn't come up with the same thing.
It is definitely Freaky Friday shit, and
completely weird if that happened.
There might be some editing, and I apologize, Rob. My notes are all over the place.
She's not sorry.
I am.
She's a mess, but she's a hot mess, ladies and gents.
I'm a hot, sexy
She's
mess.
a hot, sexy mess
with my
Halloween-themed moo-moo.
Yes, I'm trying to keep my legs closed so
I
Courtney
keep getting flashed, but it's fine. I'm a good sport about this.
Okay, picture it. Oklahoma, April 1990. Trying to do like a Golden Girls Sophia moment.
You know, the worst part is that I have a learning disability and I can't actually conceptualize or picture anything. So you say Oklahoma and I'm like,
she tried, everybody. She like looked up at the ceiling like.
I'm also trying not to look up Hannah's moo-moo.
She put pants on. I'm like so self-conscious.
No, I like it. I like it. I'm just so happy to be back. I know life is chaotic and Rob's probably like, son of a bitch, this is not exactly what I signed up for.
Well, then I kept feeling like I was bothering you about it because every weekend you'd be like, oh, let me check what we're doing. And I felt like, oh,
that's because my life is a clusterfuck.
And I know, I just feel like I bother you with it, but I'm glad you're here.
That's Hannah's trauma. That's a different episode.
That's my abandonment issues.
Her abandonment issues. I feel like we should make a button that says Courtney's talking about Hannah's abandonment issues again. Let's do that. I wish we could make it do a tally. Anyways, sorry, Roberto.
So here we are, Oklahoma, April 1990. There's 2 or 3 guys in a truck and they're driving. Right? What's new in Oklahoma? And they see something on the side of the road and they decide to stop because what they thought was debris. Like, what is this we're looking at? Right? And they see a blonde woman lying there. So they do what any good citizen would do and they call an ambulance. So she gets picked up by the ambulance. She gets sent to the hospital.
So she's alive.
She's alive.
Okay, burying the lead. She's alive.
She's alive. And they find out that her name is Tonya Hughes. They get a hold of her husband, Clarence. He shows up and he gives some identifying information. But Clarence is kind of weird.
The name Clarence is kind of weird.
He's older.
Like older than her.
Older than her.
Okay.
Come to find out, she has a son, Michael. And she's a stripper in Tulsa.
Okay.
As they examine her, she's full of older bruises, and they get the feeling in their gut that something is not right. Like, these bruises are not from
the incident.
Possible hit and run is really what it's come down to.
Okay.
There's something else going on. Unfortunately, she did pass and died. So the girls that were at the strip club that came to know her really well, they wanted to find some of her family because obviously they didn't trust Terrence to do that. So they find a number in the phone book, so obviously 1990 guys, and they call and say, hey, like, I'm so sorry, your daughter passed. And the woman on the line said, what are you talking about? My daughter died 20 years ago.
Oh,
she was only 18 months old.
Oh, no.
So they were like, who the fuck did we just bury?
Oh, man.
Let's go back. Fall 1989. She met one of her new friends at the strip club she's working at, right? So we're a year before. And they bonded. And they were the babies of the group. She always saw Tonya reading. Tonya always wanted to learn. She was smart. She was sweet. She had this really young, innocent look about her, which kind of goes with the strip club, right? Like, that's what guys want to see.
It's icky, but yeah, I was kind of thinking it too.
Of course, she had her husband, Clarence. The friend met Clarence and her son, Michael, who was 2 years old.
Okay.
And her son was her world. Her son was everything to her. She wanted to do everything with her son. So the friend's like, hey, like, why don't we take Michael to the park or let's go to the zoo? She's like, I can't do that. Clarence would not let Michael and Tonya out of his sight. Like, would not allow them to do anything without him.
But he let her work at the strip club. That's interesting to me.
Yes.
Okay.
Since they all changed together at the strip club, right? They're changing outfits and whatever. The friends saw the bruises. They saw the bruises on her ass. There's something else going on here. So one day, Tonya confided in one of her friends that Clarence took a life insurance policy out on her. So what does that tell us?
He's going to kill her.
He's going to kill her.
Too much true crime for us.
Right? That was my first thought. I'm like, oh, he's going to kill her.
We're sad, but yeah.
April 25th, 1990, Clarence called the friend that kept coming to see her at the hospital and said, Tonya was in a hit and run in Oklahoma City. This was a friend from the strip club. And the friend's like, I didn't know she was going out of town. Like, what do you mean? What was she even doing in that area? That's when Clarence is like, she cannot have any visitors. She's in the ICU. And the friend's like, fuck that shit. Like, I'm going to go see her.
Especially because they were already skeptical about it.
Right. So apparently when she went to go visit Tonya in the hospital before she passed, the nurse even said that they think there's foul play in this. Like, this doesn't look like something that happened accidentally or, I don't know. It looked like foul play. Basically.
Well, and it's also, it sounds like, and maybe this is just me being kind of not familiar with Oklahoma, but the way you describe it, it seems like she's on this street and there's no clear indicator.
Yes.
There's no parts that you've mentioned so far about there being any kind of car situation involved. So they're kind of just like assuming based off of injuries on her body, I would imagine.
Right.
Okay.
She was only 20 years old. Extremely young. So since they did not have info of who she really was, they just put Tonya on her headstone. So the girls just made her headstone and she was buried.
So Clarence wasn't even involved in...
It seems not,
burial.
from what I understand.
Okay.
They were worried about Michael, her son, because apparently all of a sudden he wasn't talking. They ended up calling Child Protective Services and he ended up getting put in a foster home. The foster family had him for about 4 years, and it sounds like he was very behavioral in the beginning.
Makes
the
sense.
people that placed him, the Child Protective Services, said, oh, he drinks Pepsi and he's on a bottle. And they're like, what? Like, this kid's 2 years old? No. So they tried to break a lot of habit, and then he calmed down and stuff, but he was doing great. But Dad kept trying to get him back.
So Clarence is the biological father. We assume at this point.
At this point, yes. So Dad did have visits, but Michael hated it. He would hide underneath the piano at the foster family home and go, just meet that mean man, that mean man. He just wouldn't want to go.
Poor baby.
Child Protective Services called the foster family and said, we need to prove paternity because this is getting a little ridiculous. He was not the father.
I'm so sorry. I blew that one up for everybody.
I feel like I'm Maury. He's not the father.
You are not the father. So that could be good news, actually.
It's definitely good news in this case. So the foster family claims Clarence is now stalking their house because they see this truck go by really, really slow. And this woman's like, what is going on? So she calls Child Protective Services and I was like, what kind of car does Clarence drive? Oh, he drives this blue pickup. This is what he looks like. She's like, he's driving by my house, like really slow and creepily. September 12th, 1994, Clarence shows up at Michael's school, threatened the principal with a gun, and forced him to help him get Michael from his classroom.
Dear God.
The three of them get into the principal's truck and he ordered him to drive down this dirt road. Clarence handcuffed the principal to a tree and duct taped his mouth and drove off with Michael. The principal was found, and the FBI ends up getting involved, and they see that Clarence tried to collect on his wife's life insurance policy in 1990, but he gave a social security number that went back to a man named Franklin Floyd.
Floyd. Okay.
So his name was not Clarence, everybody. Surprise.
Franklin Floyd.
Things began to unfold, and Floyd had a lot of aliases. And Floyd had a prison history.
Oh, of course. What else would he be hiding underneath that?
1962, he abducted a girl, 4 years old, raped her.
Ugh.
1963, he got put in jail for a robbery for 10 years. 1972, he was put in a halfway house. 1973, he attacked another female. He posted bail and never showed up to court. And he'd been on the run for almost 20 years.
Just changing his name once or maybe more than once.
Yep.
So, and that would make sense because if you're going to take out a life insurance policy on somebody, you have to use your own social security number and things. But like,
even though his name was never.
They must not have been married because how would they have been married if, or she knew his real name and God, this is complex. This is fascinating.
You're asking all the right questions.
I'm so happy to be back.
And they're going to get answered.
Yes, I love when there's answers. Mine doesn't have any.
God. So, of course, this makes headline news, right? The FBI is involved now. There's aliases. This is making...
And it's Oklahoma.
It's Oklahoma. And someone saw Tonya's picture in this on the news. And it ended up being this girl's mom. And she's like, wait a minute. I recognize this child. Didn't you go to school with her, honey? And she's like, oh my God, that's not Tonya. That's Sharon Marshall. She was my best friend in high school.
Oh God.
So she ends up calling the FBI and she's like, hey, that was my high school best friend. And I knew her as Sharon Marshall. She said that her friend was just gorgeous. Like she would walk into a room, all the men would just fall in love with her. She was in ROTC. She was in science club. She was in the gifted program. She wanted to be an aerospace engineer. She got accepted to Georgia Tech with a full scholarship. Like this girl was absolutely fucking brilliant.
A heartbreak.
Yeah. Remember how when the parents could take out full pages in the yearbook to be like, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of my baby girl,
yes.
blah, 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 blah. Did your parents do that?
No, okay. I hid the ad.
Mine didn't either. But the dad took out a whole page for her in the yearbook to congratulate her on her getting into Georgia Tech. But he didn't choose like a baby photo. He chose this model photo and people thought it was strange.
Like inappropriate model?
Inappropriate. Like,
okay,
why
not like
are
a senior
you,
portrait. Like inappropriate.
Like, why are you choosing this photo of your daughter?
Okay, so it was definitely like a sexualized kind of photo.
Yes.
Okay.
Looking at it, honestly, I thought it was, I don't know. I guess when you know the whole story, you're like, okay, that's a little weird.
Maybe fine for what we would also do now.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. But then she ended up getting pregnant. And her dad wouldn't let her leave or go to college. He's like, you're going to give up this baby and you're going to take care of me now. And she ended up calling her best friend. She's like, I can't go to Georgia Tech anymore. And she's like, what the fuck? Why? She's like, I'm pregnant, but I have to give up the baby. And like, well, why don't you still go? She's like, well, someone has to take care of daddy. And that they were moving to Arizona.
Was there something going on with her dad? Or was he just kind of like, no, now it's your turn? Oh, God. I hate that I ask questions sometimes.
There's so many things I want to tell you, but it gets unfolded.
Okay, I'm sorry. I have a lot of questions.
That's fine. I'm glad you have a lot of questions because when I was going through this, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah. I had like whiplash.
I feel like you're like holding me back. You're like, later, we'll get to it.
So the high school friend met with the FBI and told them about her father, who ended up being Warren Marshall. Because, of course, she was Sharon Marshall. The father was Warren Marshall. This was another alias. So they ended up finding aliases for Sharon, too.
Oh.
So are you following that part?
Yeah.
Okay. They ended up taking these names off tombstones to get their aliases.
Okay, this is bad, but I get why they did that, and it made sense because nobody else is going to be like, hey, wait a minute, but I'm John Smith because, I mean, well, somebody else would say that surely about John Smith, but not about other names, I'm sure.
So now we have a lot of gaps to fill in. Right? Filling in those gaps, after leaving high school, they end up going to Tampa, Florida. When Sharon was there, she ended up going to a very popular strip joint to find work.
Oh, God.
They remember her being innocent, very baby doll looking.
Oh, God, you said he was older. Oh, God, you said he was older. No.
Very shy. And soon the other girls were aware of the weird relationship between her and her father.
Yep. Oh, man.
So one time, Sharon was doing this specialty party. I think they called it like the Millionaires Club kind of party. And one of the girls was like, hey, you're going to make like $500 or $1,000 tonight, like easily, right? Apparently, she was caught trying to do sexual favors for money near the bathrooms. And they caught her like, you can't do this.
Right.
And she's like, well, I was told I had to by my dad and he bought me condoms to do it.
What in God's name?
So remember, she's pregnant, right? And it began to show. And this is when Michael was born.
And she continues to work at the strip club.
So now it's Michael, Sharon, and Warren. And they lived in a trailer park. They only had like one or two friends and this one girl that was like 15 from the trailer park that would help babysit once in a while.
Creepy, also, given what we know about this man.
Yes. They had one friend named Cheryl who would go over several times a week, and she ended up working at the strip club with Sharon, so she knew them. She was stylish, she was beautiful. They say she was Italian with this beautiful black hair, and she had a red Corvette, and she had all these dreams, and she's like, I want to be a model. I want to be in Playboy. She thought working at the strip club, because it was a very well-known one, would be like a step to her getting to the fame that she wanted.
The exposure and somebody who was prominent someplace would see her. Yeah, I get that.
Exactly.
I get that.
One of the girls found out that she was hanging out with Sharon and her father at Sharon's trailer, and they were like, I don't think you should be hanging out with it. Like, there's something wrong with that man.
Something off about that situation, yeah.
A video was seen of Sharon and Cheryl topless at the beach that Clarence had recorded. Cheryl claimed that Warren, now I'm saying Clarence and Warren. Sorry, there's so many aliases, and I apologize.
Yeah, I think we all just as the Wanderers are assuming that when you say he, unless you're otherwise stating it, we're assuming that that's Clarence who is Floyd.
Yes. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay.
That's kind of how my brain works.
Because I wrote a lot of names in here.
But
and
they're
I'm
all
like,
Frank Floyd. Right. They're all him.
So Cheryl claims that this awful douchebag man was going to help her make her a star, and he was going to send this video to Playboy, and he was going to help her get to fandom.
Oh, God.
But then he tried to have sex with her, and she's like, no, thank you. Of course, a switch was flipped. She ended up showing up at the strip club with bruises and strangulation marks on her. And her friends were like, what happened? And she explained to them, like, you cannot be around this man anymore. This guy is bad news.
And I'm shocked that he actually let her get away with all these aliases and things he's working. It makes you really think about it, because I just would have assumed he would have just and been done with it. Oh, damn.
Soon after that happened, Cheryl and Warren left with Michael. And the only reason they knew she left was because she never showed up for work again.
So he just took the kid took both of the kids, I guess, and just split with them. Was just like,
I'm sorry, not Cheryl, Sharon and Warren. Excuse me. Sharon and Floyd.
Sharon and whatever this guy's name is. Wow. Okay.
But also to know, Cheryl, the friend, was never seen again.
So he did kill her. And then left. And then I'm assuming got new names for everybody again. I got this guy's number already dialed in.
All right, where do we go with this? When the best friend from high school saw her on the TV and was like, oh my God, this is my best friend, she remembers how her parents reacted to her father. Like, this guy's a creep. I don't want you anywhere near their house. The friend was like, please, I want to sleep over. I want to be with my friend. The mom was like, fine. Like, you can sleep over. So they were getting dressed one day together in Sharon's house. And she sees all this sexy lingerie. And she's like, oh my God, like, where'd you get all this beautiful stuff? She's like, oh, Daddy buys it for me.
The fact that she calls him Daddy also.
Like, yes. She's like, okay, that's kind of a weird thing for your father to buy. Like, she's like, oh, I just keep it because it's pretty. Another weird thing that she remembers about their house is that there was never any doors. There was only like these
open
curtains.
concept.
Yeah, right?
So you can't hide.
These curtains that kept the door closed. As teenage girls do, they were getting dressed. They were getting ready for bed or whatever
Right,
they were
and they
doing.
do that together.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
Girls do that. All of a sudden, he walks in with a gun
Oh, gosh.
and screams, "What are you all doing?" And of course, the friend's like trying to grab anything she can.
And
She's-
crap, he's got a gun.
Yeah, she's
There's a
like
lot
trying
happening.
to cover herself because she feels immodest. This guy starts fucking laughing like a fucking banshee, scaring the crap out of the girls, and he'll say, "I'll be back." So they get dressed, and shortly after, he comes back in with his gun and tells the friend, "Lay on the ground and put a pillow over your head." And he ends up raping Sharon with her in the room.
Okay, so some kind of like voyeurism. A pillow. Was it like a suppressed memory for this friend? Because they were in high school, you said. They were
Yeah.
high school best friends. So
Yep.
she didn't think I should go home and say, "Hey, y'all."
She said afterwards, they were silent the rest of the night. They went to sleep, and the next morning, Sharon just ended up holding her, and she's like, "I'm okay. You're okay. That's just how daddy is. Just forget about it." And the friend never said a word about it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so the friend lived with that trauma. And then, of course, I'm sure she was like, should I have said anything?
Right.
Like,
Oh.
but when you're 17, 18, I don't know. Like, I mean,
It's also just very interesting, like from a, not interesting in an entertaining way, interesting in a psychological way that he has some kind of possession over his own child where like he seems to just prefer his own child over everybody except Cheryl.
yeah, the friend. Right.
Right.
So I know I'm jumping back from like the past to the future, but here we are in the future again. And the FBI is doing interviews and they're looking at this douche canoe's history and they realize something. Sharon died when she was 20, right? She was found on the side of the road right near her 20th birthday. When she died, he could not have been the father because he was incarcerated from 1963 to 1972.
Oh.
So who was he?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
And how did she end up thinking that that was her father?
And where the fuck was Michael?
Right.
Okay. So the FBI said, let's contact every state we know this guy has been to with an alias.
Right.
Everywhere. I think it was like Kentucky
That was
and
probably a lot.
Oklahoma and Florida. Like, let's contact these states and alert them of all the aliases he's had because he's going to need a license. We know he's going to renew one. Sure enough, Louisville, Kentucky comes up and he was arrested. But no Michael. He claimed he left Michael with a rich person. Which FBI is like, this is fucking bullshit. Like, what?
You just like walked up a person, hey,
Yeah.
you look rich, you want a kid?
Yeah, you want a kid?
And
Right.
they said, yeah.
Yeah, which they're like, bullshit. You know what this motherfucker wanted to do? This
Oh,
was,
man.
oh man.
I don't know if I'm ready for this.
No, it's just, he wanted to defend himself in court.
Why do they always want to do that?
I'm sorry. So he wanted a hybrid model, which reminds me of several other cases, and I'm gonna say it.
Oh, man.
Reminds me of fucking Bundy. We've talked about other cases where these motherfuckers are so narcissistic.
That they think they can defend
They
themselves.
think they can defend themselves. They think they can question people in their defense. It just, wow. I don't know.
People always want to defend themselves,
Mhm.
and it doesn't make any sense to me unless they want to get put away for it. Do you think at a certain point they're like, I'm going to control this by literally controlling the entire thing?
I think so, but it's a narcissistic way of thinking,
I just feel like I'm always torn because I think if I was a narcissist, wouldn't I want to keep going out and being able to live my life the way that benefits me? And wouldn't that mean giving a professional the chance?
I think it's because we're not narcissists.
True. Plus, it sounds like he's been behind bars several times, so maybe
yeah.
he's had bad experiences with public defenders and things like that, because obviously he was going to get a public defender.
And that's where we're going to leave it for now. Hannah just walked us through a truly gruesome and unsettling part of this story, but we're not done yet. There's more to come, and trust me, the second half is just as intense, if not more. This is a 2-part episode, so be sure to join us next week for the conclusion. You won't want to miss how this story unfolds. In the meantime, make sure to subscribe to Wicked Wanderings wherever you get your podcasts and follow us on all social media platforms to stay up to date on new episodes, behind-the-scenes content, and more. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening today. Wicked Wanderings is hosted by me, Hannah.
and co-hosted by me, Courtney.
And it's produced by Rob Fitzpatrick.
Music by Sasha N.
If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to leave a rating and review, and be sure to follow on all socials. You can find the links down in the show notes. If you're looking for some really cozy t-shirts or hoodies, head over to the merch store. Thank you for being a part of the Wicked Wanderings community. We appreciate every one of you. Stay curious, keep exploring,
and always remember to keep on wandering.
A sincere expression of gratitude to our esteemed patrons for their generous monthly contributions. You too can become a valued patron and unlock a realm of exclusive content by supporting our mission for as little as $3 a month. Your contributions sustain our commitment to delivering high-quality content. Visit wickedwanderingspodcast.com and click on the support tab to join the ranks of our dedicated patrons. Thank you for considering this opportunity to deepen your engagement with Wicked Wanderings. Your support is paramount in enabling us to continue our journey into the realms of mystery and true crime.